I want to welcome the GMs and the wives, the godly men and the warm, inviting, feminine, empathetic women out there. Now, there are a lot of men that are not giving up, but there are a lot of men that are also giving up. And it's because they are being persecuted for who they are, and they're giving up on their lives, their careers, their relationships, their really anything that you could possibly think of. I mean, it's really sad to see, because it is a fact that the suicide rates are 3 times higher for men than women all around the world. But it is also the case that women are on far more antidepressant medications. In fact, women are on antidepressants more today than ever before. And a lot of this stuff has to deal with, I think we've gotten so used to this sense of entitlement in our society that we've been given so much without having to do much for it, at least on the surface. And we've taken advantage of how really valuable being able to put in the work really can be. And this is something that I'm learning more and more each day, just the more that I grow as a man. It's that there is a real profound, numinous essence to hard work and dedication. It's not just like a robotic, mechanical thing, right? It's actually how that hard work and that smart work, rather, sometimes people conflate the two with hard work and smart work. I think they're different. Hard work and smart work are very different things. Even though you can work hard while working smart, sometimes working hard at something and is not going to get you the outcome that you necessarily want, because working hard doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to actually get the results that you want. You can work as hard as you want in the gym, but if you're not getting the proper nutrition, if you're not getting the proper sleep, you're not going to grow your body, and your muscles aren't going to be sustainable. In fact, you're probably going to hurt the muscle growth and the muscle tissue more, because you're overworking them and not giving it your body the proper fuel. It's like trying to put gasoline in an electric vehicle, or trying to charge a gas vehicle with an electric charge. It's not going to work. So there are certain things that you can do to amplify this, but a lot of men I see, and I've had men that I've talked to just randomly at the gym, and over the past few months, whenever I'm out and about, I don't necessarily talk to them too much, but when I do, I try to make it as engaging and encouraging as I possibly can, because I know what it's like to be a young man in these modern times. And I remember what it's like to be what a lot of men are today, which is invisible. A lot of men are invisible in today's society, and it's partly due to their own making, but in many other ways it's because women have these exceptionally high standards that are only seen on social media, because women seem to have this, I think women have it more so than men, right? Because men could sleep in a shack and be fine for the most part if they didn't have a family to take care of, if they didn't have other responsibilities. The only reason that men get the nice cars and the house and the big yard and everything like that, the only reason we get that is perceived social status. And perceived social status is going to come at a cost for all men, but so is actual social status. Now, what do I exactly mean by the difference between the two? Well, perceived social status is something that people make up on their own, right? And it kind of depends on how available you are. It kind of depends on how you act. But actual social status means, well, it's your actual resources. It's your actual availability to influence people in some way, shape, and form. And so Jesus is a really interesting example of actual social status, because because obviously he has the authority that God has given unto him, but Jesus was a very poor person. He was poor so that we can be rich. He was poor so that we can be rich, not just spiritually, but materialistically as well. And it's not necessarily that we should strive for materialism, because if we seek for material things in the world, we're going to get into a place that is surface level, that is vain, that is dismissive of the spiritual side of life. And ultimately, that's not going to generate a positive outcome in the long term for us as a species or just as an individual. But if we are putting the spiritual side first, then we're going to be able to not only attract better and bigger and better things into our life with more opportunities, but also we're going to be able to know how to love one another more true. Because I think that that's what a lot of this world is missing today, and that's what a lot of men are missing today. It's a lot of just genuine brotherhood and actual intimacy. So if this at all resonates with you as a man watching this, I'm shouting out to you right now that you are not alone. And I used to think for a long time that I was alone, that I would never be able to find or create that relationship that I want, the lifestyle that I want, the income that I want. And now you can take that all away from me. You can take everything that I've made of myself as a man, which isn't even like I'm not like an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos or anything like that. I'm not I'm not there at any point, but I've made enough of myself to be proud but not prideful of what I've been able to do and what I've accomplished and the lives that I've touched along the way, because I know that there's been comments in this YouTube channel that I never thought I'd see before. And I've had people in my consultations and workshops that I do, and I've never seen comments like this before. And it's truly humbling to see some of these comments and to see how being able to stand alone was in fact the greatest thing that could ever have happened to me. And being able to stand alone just went to show how powerful a human being can be if you are capable of being your own person. And so thank God for this journey, and thank God for the blessings that He's given unto me. In times that are tough and hard, like so many men are today, it really saddens me to see, but when these times are vicious, we have to be stronger, and we have to be more mindful of our fortitude in pursuing excellence no matter what. And a lot of women just simply will not understand because they're not living that kind of experience. And it's not like I'm saying that women should understand. I don't think they need to really understand. It's not really it's not who they are. They're not really meant to understand the male struggle. But there have been times where I've seen women where they are flabbergasted. Like, there's a situation 7 or 8 months ago, and I've mentioned this before on this channel, but for those that are just joining, this is going to be useful for you. 7 or 8 months ago, I told a woman no, and that we are not compatible, and she was flabbergasted. She literally told me, and this was a young, early 20-year-old woman. She was probably 23, 24, something like that. And she told me that I was the first man to ever tell her no. That was just, it was profoundly mind-blowing to me, because I thought to myself, wow, imagine walking the world for over 2 decades, never being told no. I just simply cannot fathom that. And I kind of thought about it in the same way that women don't really understand that complete opposite of men, where men are being constantly told no, that you have to perform, that you have to be doing this, you have to be doing that. And you do. Like, I'm not saying that men shouldn't be that, or that I'm not saying that men shouldn't be the protector, the provider, to put food on the table, have a roof over your family's head. That's not what I'm saying. Like, you need to be those things. You need to be those things. I'm not discounting that by any stretch of the imagination. But to see the flip side of the coin, to being constantly told no, to now all of a sudden seeing someone that has never been told no. And I think we'd be surprised as men just how many women are not told no. And I've seen women that I've rejected. I didn't want to reject, by the way. I really didn't want to. They were very attractive women, but they made a few behaviors that I just couldn't accept long term. And I'm not the kind of guy that has flings or plays around, and so I left it alone. I just walked away from the situation. And when these multiple women came back and were like, hey, you know, where have you gone? Like, are you still here or not? It's like, no, I'm on my own square. Like, I'm standing on my square right now, and there's nothing really that you can do at this point to show me something different, because I've seen who you are. You know, as a man, there are some things that once you see, you can't really unsee those things, right? And I'm not the kind of man that wants to live in delusion. And so I strive my best to be a realist as I follow Christ, because I know what happens if I don't. I know what happens if I fall into a lack of discernment. And I would rather rise in courage and integrity, and I would rather rise simply in awareness as well, than to fall into a lack of discernment because I wanted to be lustful for a moment, or any other kind of sin for a moment. It's not worth it for me at this point in my life. I've seen enough and I've been through enough to understand that it can be very degrading to yourself to go back to your own vomit, per se, as the Bible says. So the reason that I think men are struggling so much with wanting to do things, like, that's a lot of men just don't have the drive. And I don't blame the men, really. I don't really blame anyone at this point for what's going on. We just live in a concoction and a gumbo of superficiality and pretentiousness and delusion, so much so that trying to trust anybody with the truth is a task that seems ever more difficult going day by day. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I'm the only truth teller, that you should only listen to me. In fact, I encourage you to challenge my viewpoint. I'm not afraid of being challenged in my views, because I understand that I can entertain an idea without accepting it. And I don't take criticism personally when it comes to ideas. But if you're going to be hyperbolic and you're going to attack my character simply because you don't like something that I said, or you misconstrued something that I said, you generally just took it the wrong way, that's on you. That's on you. And a lot of the men out here, we need to be strong enough to hold the line. We need to be strong enough to accept that being persecuted for righteousness' sake is going to be part of this whole debauchery of society. Because the moment that you stand in truth, not your truth, not someone else's truth, the truth, because there are truthhoods and there are falsehoods. Once you stand in the truth, in many ways you're going to be a target. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should not strive to be truthful and to act truthful. Women are going to do what they're going to do. Like, just forget about that. Like, forget about, they're going to do what they're going to do. In fact, anybody watching this video is going to do what they're going to do. My only hope in this video is to share some encouragement and insight, hopefully enough to influence you to be the best person that you can possibly be. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not trying to be someone that tries to tell you how to live your life. But if you're going to come to me and asking for advice or recommendations on what to do with your life, I'm going to be very truthful, and I'm not here to be your friend, but I'm not here to be your enemy either. And I think that kind of mindset has led me to the point in which I'm at today with the things that I've done and everything that I've got going on for myself and going forward. So, men, do not be troubled in your hearts for being able to stand in the truth. Do not be tempted by the devil for lustful temptations. Do not be wistful and boastful in your accomplishments, but be proud of yourself for doing that which you do without being prideful, because I do genuinely believe and trust that there's a difference. If you want to go your own way as a man, I understand that. But me personally, I'm not giving up. I don't intend to give up ever. Will I have doubts? Sometimes. Sometimes I have that poopy pants mentality where sometimes the doubt creeps in, but I remember that I never have to doubt God. Sometimes I'll doubt myself, but I never have to doubt God. And with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful, and until next time, peace be with you.